Hi, it's Talsvids. In this video I'm going to demonstrate the new 3D Touch, which is on the new iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. Now what I'll do first of all, I'll go through the apps to show you which apps you can use 3D Touch on, but obviously as time goes on and the app developers update their apps, there'll be more and more apps that can make use of 3D Touch. I'll show you the apps that you can use 3D Touch on, and also what you can do with 3D Touch when you're in them apps as well, when that applies. I'll start at the top of my screen, and you can see it's the calendar. So if you 3D Touch on this, now basically as we all know, we've got the touch screen which we've had for the last 7-8 years of the iPhone being out. But now we've got like a third dimension to the screen, hence the name 3D Touch, where we can actually press as well as touch. So if we press on the calendar, you can see the screen goes blurry, and that indicates that you activated the 3D Touch. Now as you can see now, this has brought a little shortcut up for the calendar, and that would allow us to add a new event to the calendar. And also underneath you can see the next appointment or calendar event, whatever you want to call it. That'll be appearing. As you can see, my next calendar appointment was 10 AM to 11 AM today. So that's for calendar. So obviously if we clicked on add event, that would launch us right into the calendar app, and from there we could add our new event. Now next one, clock. Just do the same again. You just press onto the screen a little bit and you'll see it go blurry, and then the next thing you'll see the 3D Touch option that you can do with that particular app. So we could create an alarm. Now the next one, camera. That brings up a few options this time. So obviously the top one is take selfie, record video, record slow-mo, and take photo. So obviously as you can see with this, it's giving you a shortcut to doing all them things without having to go into the camera app and then scrolling along at the bottom of the screen to pick either photo mode, video mode, slow-mo mode. So it's essentially taking away a few taps from your usual way that you would do these things, and that's where I think 3D Touch really excels. It's really good for, well, amongst other things, getting access to shortcuts to your most commonly used features in that app. And as I said earlier, the list of apps will grow as time goes on. Photos. So as you can see with photos, the top option would show us the most recent video photo that we'd taken. Favorites, which shows our photos that we'd favorited. You can also see as well the 1 year ago. That will basically show you photos that you've took 1 year ago. And then the search one would let you search for a particular photo took in a certain place, that kind of thing. App Store. So rather than having to launch the App Store app and then tap at the bottom for search, we can now just force touch right on the App Store app, and that'll bring up the search option. Then the redeem one is if you've got like a App Store voucher or an iTunes voucher, that'll allow you to redeem it from this 3D Touch shortcut. Contacts. That'll allow you to create a new contact. Notes. That'll allow you to, the top option will allow you to create a new note. Middle one, new photo. That would launch the camera app, let you take a photo and then insert it right into the Notes app. New sketch. That would bring up the pens that you can see in the new version of Notes, and you could do a little sketch or doodle, whatever you want to call it. So again, it's getting your access right to that feature without first having to launch the app, tap on one option and then tap on another. It's force touch on the app, choose your option, and you're right onto that feature. Reminders. Obviously create a new reminder on the top one, and then you've got different ones for the family section of reminders if you've got family sharing set up. And you can also, as well, I've got a shopping list reminder that I often use, so that would give me the option to add a reminder in the shopping list section. Now tips, that doesn't work, and you can get like a little rapid tap back onto your finger when it's an app that doesn't currently have a 3D touch option. Now Twitter, now I've just updated this today, and Twitter is making use of the 3D touch, and I expect the next one to come along would be Facebook, but at this time there's no 3D touch option with Facebook. So as you can see there, for a 3D touch on Twitter, I'll bring up the option to create a new message, a new tweet, or search. You might hear me referring to 3D touch as force touch, but it's essentially the same thing. Now music, that'll allow you to play Beats One. Search the Apple Music Store, or Apple Music app, and the bottom one will show you the song that you're currently at playing. And what I'll do a little bit later on in this guide, I'll go into the music app and I'll show you some other useful and some of the other apps as well, and show you some of the extra options that you can get from within that app with 3D touch. And we've got wallet, and that'll bring up a list of credit cards that you've got stored in Apple Pay. Safari, so rather than having to go into the Safari app, access your reading list, your bookmarks, open a new tab or private tab, you can do it right from within the 3D touch. Phone, that'll bring up a list of your most commonly accessed contacts, and then obviously the bottom one would allow you to create a new contact. Messages, that will show you a recent contact that you've texted, and then the other option is new message. So again, rather than having to go into that messages app, then to tap onto the little new message icon to start your new message, you can just 3D touch new message and you're right into the app, which is going to be really useful for people like myself and others who send a lot of text messages. Mail, so we can say the top option would get us right into all our inboxes for all our email accounts. The VIP one would show us any contacts that we've marked as VIP for emails. And then we've got the search option, and then we've got the bottom option, which is new message. So navigation, so on the Maps app, that'll allow us to get directions home from where we are, mark our location on a map, send my location to other people, either an email or text message, and you can also search nearby. The iTunes Store, we can search, or we can redeem a voucher. Now, I think that covers all for the apps that I've got installed on my phone that can use 3D touch for the time being. But as I said before, the list of apps that you can use 3D touch on will grow as developers catch up and update their apps. So if we just go into Apple Music now, and I'll just show you some extra options that you can get from within there. So on the For You section, you can see a list of playlists and albums that it's recommending for me based on what I've told it I've liked. So usually you've got to tap onto the playlist to see what's on that playlist, to see if you like it or not. With 3D Touch now, you can just 3D touch on that playlist and it'll bring up a preview. So this is basically peek. This is what Apple call this particular feature. It allows you to peek at that option without actually going into it. So as you can see there, I can peek to see what's on that playlist. Now if I press a little bit harder, that performs another 3D touch option, which is pop. As you can see there, when I pressed a little bit harder, that gets me right into that playlist, and from there I could play it, mark it as a favourite, all the other things that you can normally do. And then if we go down to an album, we can do exactly the same on there. We can peek at this album to see what's on it. Pressing a little bit harder and it'll pop right onto it. So that's peek and pop, and we can use that as well on emails and quite a few other things as well. Now if I do a peek onto this, you can see right at the very top there's like a little arrow facing upwards. Now if I move up, that'll bring up a little dialog box at the bottom where we can choose to play, shuffle or add it to my music. Right, I'm just going to messages now. So if I just write a rough bit of text on there. Now normally to highlight some text, to either edit it or to remove it, we've got to place our finger on there, and it can be a little bit tricky. With 3D touch now, we can just force press on the keyboard. We can simply move our finger left or right and choose whereabouts we want to place the cursor. So that's one other option that you can use 3D touch on. Oh yeah, one last option is, if you find that you've got to press really hard to activate 3D touch, or it's activating too easily, you can alter the pressure that you need to apply to activate it. So to do this, we're going to Settings, General, Accessibility, and then we just scroll down to where we see 3D touch. Now this will allow us to turn 3D touch on or off, but underneath this we can see 3D touch sensitivity, and we've got light, medium and firm pressure, and we can also do a little test underneath to see if that pressure that we've got to apply is either too firm or too light, and you can adjust it accordingly. So it normally defaults in the medium setting. So if you just press the little 3D touch sensitivity test area where the picture is there, that'll activate the peak, which is that, and then the pop, and then you just click on done. So if you find it's activating too easily, you just alter it to either medium or firm, and vice versa the other way. Well, I think that covers everything for the 3D touch. I can't think of anything else. I hope you found the video useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and also if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll receive an email when I upload any new videos. Well, thanks for watching. Goodbye.